Welcome. Welcome to PubTalk. I have to say, I trust you all very much. You are my business community. I value your feedback, your opinions, your constructive criticism, and I want to know, what do you think of my new business card? Can you see it? Hey, can you guys dim the lights for just a second?
No, unfortunately not.
Well, shoot, because it's precious. Well, maybe we'll try again at the end of the night when we can dim the lights. That was going to be amazing. Anyways, puppies. Oh! What do you think of my new business card? Does it scream professionalism? Does it let you know who I am as a person, as a community member? Welcome to EDCO. I'm so glad you all could make it. You can put my business card away, friends. Thanks so much. Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Super Bowl halftime show. How's 2022 treating you all so far? A couple of nods, a couple of woos. I get it. It's been a tough couple of days. But how wonderful to be here together tonight, huh? Thank you for joining us again in our new to us venue for PubTalk. Special thanks to Steve and the team here at Silver Moon for letting us take over, and to Stellar Realty Northwest for allowing us to stretch out into 2 rooms. If you're looking for the chicken strut grub, the food is next door where check-in was, and the show is streaming over there. So if you run out of food and you need to run next door and get some more food, the show's streaming, you won't miss much. And thanks also to Hand in Hand Productions for making all of this go. I'm so happy to be hosting again tonight. Thanks to MC sponsor OSU Cascades. And tonight you'll hear from CAIRN co-founder Rob Little, who, like dozens of local and state organizations that have worked with Erica McAlpine at the OSU Cascades DEI Lab, this is grounded in research and best practices. The DEI Lab can customize trainings, tools, and workshops to help your organization ensure inclusion and advance social equity in the workplace. Visit osukascades.edu/DEI-lab for more information. Shall we get on to our Director's Minute? Hear from our friend, John Stark. How's month 2 treating you, John? Where are you? Get on up here.
Month two. I do have some announcements, as a matter of fact. So last time I was with you, I talked about the Great Resignation. Well, EDCO's trying to turn it into a great revitalization. So with that, I've got a couple of announcements. We have 2 new people that are coming on the board of the team. Actually, one is coming back, an alumni from EDCO of about 10 years ago. So Eric Strobel, who was with us for 5 years as the Bend area director, is back on board at EDCO, and he's running the Sisters program today. So he's helping out there doing BRE, business retention, expansion, and recruitment. And so we're super excited to have him back on the team, and with contributions he'll be paying forward for us. And then we also have filled the Venture Catalyst position. That's an important one to you all because that helps us put this event on. And so we have a new team member who is actually online tonight. You can't see her right now. Deanne Buck. She is from Boulder. And so she is in process of moving here. We're super excited. She's got a ton of business mentoring and coaching. She's got a ton of strategy background. She's got a law degree. There's a lot of things that she's bringing to the table for EDCO that we're super excited about. And Deanne, welcome. You're out there in virtual land, and I'm giving you a thumbs up, and I'm super excited to have you on board. She will be here at the next PubTalk in person. She'll be here in person next week, working out of the EDCO office, and she's already been working a few shifts or days, if you will, this week. So we're super excited to have that position filled. And then we've got 2 other positions that we're really close on in Redmond. The one I left, so the Redmond Senior Director position. We're close on that, and we're close on the Redmond Internship Coordinator position. So yes, that means there were 4 vacancies in the 2 weeks that, or 2 months rather, that I came on, and we're just super excited to be bringing on some of these team members. I want to make sure and thank Express Employment Professionals for their diligence, their professionalism in helping us with the search. for Deanne. We're very fortunate to have some good partnerships with staffing agencies. Some are in the room tonight helping with some of these vacancies. And so what a great opportunity. And I would be remiss, and I'm going to close with this, if I didn't thank the team that we have here at EDCO that have been working exceptionally hard today for this event and other events, often covering double, yes, Aaron Riley, and triple duties. So I just want to thank our team covering for all these vacancies. They've been head down, tireless efforts, and this event would not be here tonight if those people weren't putting in a ton of hours to bring these types of events to you, despite having some of these vacancies. But we're filling them, we're revitalizing, and we'll have more people up here on the stage to introduce, including Deanne, at our next event. So on with the show, let's keep on trucking. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Yeah, big props to the EDCO team for getting through this huge transition. We are able to host PubTalk tonight in person and virtually, thanks to our generous event sponsors. So first up, Kurt Barker, partner at Best & Krieger, formerly Carnot Peterson. Kurt, what do you got?
Don't worry, I'm not going to go on and on about our merger tonight, but sorry, that chip they implant when you make partner, it packs a punch. So I guess just briefly, Carnot Peterson became Best & Krieger last month. We're now part of a 250 lawyer team in DC, California, and right here. Okay, let's see. You know, there's not much we can't do for your business, but as an employment attorney, I do hear a client complaint from multiple times that I only get to call you when, pardon the phrase, like shit hits the fan, or I only talk to you about dark and scary things. So I'm just going to focus on joyful things that are making me personally very happy this last month. Do you know about our connection with VIM, Volunteers in Medicine, our firm? So our own Jim Peterson was one of the 3 founders of Volunteers in Medicine back in 2004. I've served on the board for like over 9 years. It's just a passion of mine. I think that everybody deserves healthcare, period. So VIM's getting recognized with the Inspiring Workplace Award from Ben Chambers' Business Excellence Awards next week. So it's such a huge accomplishment. Kudos to the staff and our executive director, Kat Mastrangelo. But double whammy for VIM. Our board vice chair, Dr. Tyler Fix, he's getting the Emerging Leader Award. So I'm joyful through the roof right now. I would remind everybody here, it's not too late to get your tickets. Yes, I am partially sucking up to my wife, the vice president at the Chamber, Talina, but just do it for VIM. Get your tickets, go honor Tyler, go show up at the event. Like clients like Mosaic Medical are being recognized too, we love them. Let's see, I think that's it, but I'd like to do a giveaway. I can't confirm or deny whether I gave away bourbon or whether I drank the bourbon that was supposed to be given away tonight, so I have a $100 Amazon gift card for whoever emails me first, just the number of offices BBK has at different physical locations. I'll come announce it at the next round. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Kurt.Barker at bbklaw.com. Kurt.Barker at bbklaw.com. Kurt, I think you should add puppies to your business card. Just a hot tip from me to you. Okay, just that one hot tip. Next up, Chris Dupont, VP, Commercial Banking Team Lead at Columbia Bank. Come on up, Chris.
All right. Thank you, everybody. It's good to be here. I know this is my first pub talk. Sorry to say. I'm new to the role, but I'm not new to Columbia Bank, nor am I new to banking. But I was actually born in it, I'm pretty sure. So I have a lot of years in banking. We're building a new team here in Central Oregon. And a couple of my team members here with me tonight are Kevin Gagne, is a loan officer over in our Redmond branch. And then our new credit analyst is Lisa. You can see her right here in our downtown Bend branch. So she loves puppies, by the way. And I'm sure we're going to see those on her business cards as well. So anyway, we're excited to be here. We're excited to be part of the Pub Talks. We're excited for EDCO and this new coming year. There's a lot of things that are happening. You're going to see a lot of things coming out here shortly. I heard the term merger just a little bit ago. I have nothing to say about it right now. There's a lot of things coming. We don't know where that stands at the moment. We got to get regulatory approval still, so That's coming. Events on the horizon, you're going to see our names quite a bit. So we're looking to be involved, look to see us around. As far as the business lending needs are considered, we're hitting the ground running this year. So I think we're on pace for a record year already. Kevin has a lot in the pipeline. Trevor, a lot of you know Trevor. He's really going. So don't be afraid to come see us. Call us. We want to hang out with you guys. We want to see you, get to know you, and we're just glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I got a big event coming up May 14th. She stands up at the Tower Theater. Call me. I'll call you. I'll email you. It's going to be fine. Okay. Thank you to VLOX Systems and Providence Health Plan, each EDCO members, EDCO board members, long-standing title sponsors of PubTalk. We couldn't and wouldn't want to, frankly, do it without you. Up next is Jen Lynch, Bendventure Conference Fund Manager and partner at Portland Seed Fund, among many other brilliant and amazing things. Come on up, Jen.
Hi, it's so nice to see you in February. It is still February. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you in February, too. I don't usually see you until the fall when we talk about the Bendventure Conference. My name is Jen Lynch. I am the managing partner of the Bendventure Conference Growth Fund. Every year in the fall, in conjunction with the Bendventure Conference, sponsored by EDCO, we raise a small investment fund here in Bend with the purpose of investing in a company that is the winner of the Bendventure Conference competition. That fund typically is between $250,000 and $500,000, and everybody in Bend is invited to participate in this fund, assuming that they meet the qualifications for investing in a security like this. And I'm here just to tell you that this thing exists. Basically, I have a website. It's bendvcfund.com. I don't have a business card. Please don't ask me for one. I'm not going to have them printed. It's 2022. I'm just not gonna. bendvcfund.com, and you can go there and fill out a form, and I will send you an email. We're going to do an event this spring where you can learn more about the fund. We'll do another one in the summer, and then we'll start doing a lot of events in the fall where you can meet the companies in which we may potentially invest and ask them questions, meet fellow investors, and eat free food, and in general, have a really good time. So it's nice to meet all of you. I hope to meet more of you in the spring and in the fall. And that's me, bendvcfund.com. See you soon.
bendvcfund.com. I heard a rumor there's 2 Jen Lynches in Bend, but as far as I'm concerned, there's only one. Okay, there's only one. Bendventure Conference is one of the best events of the entire year. If you've never been, you should come. You learn so much. It makes your brain hurt in a good way. Can't recommend it enough. All right, Mr. Kurt, you coming back up to tell us who won the prize? Mr. BBK giveaway. What's that? Nobody's entered? Are we boycotting Amazon? Is that what's happening? What's happening? Okay, the email address is kurt.barker@bbklaw.com. I can read. bbklaw.com. I actually know the answer. How many physical locations does BBK have in the United States? Email kurt.barker@bbklaw.com. It's a number of physical locations. He said it when he was talking. Kurt, any hits? Is email down? What's happening? Okay, you know what? Let's just keep checking in, okay, Oprah? I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thanks for the loot to come, Kurt, and we'll check in a few minutes. I also want to give a quick shout out to Atlas Law Group and EDCO member Francis Hansen and Martin, both the closest neighbors here at Silver Moon, for letting some of us park in their lots after hours tonight for PubTalk. It truly takes a village to get everyone here safely. I parked across Greenwood last month. I'm surprised I made it to my car. Thanks, Dawn, for getting me there safely. Virtual attendees, listen up. On the right side of your screen, there's a chat bar. Just type your questions in. This is how you'll participate with us tonight. So your questions and your comments go into the chat bar. They'll find their way to me, and I will ask them of our speakers tonight. And for those of you here at Silver Moon, you in the room with me, you can just raise your hand, and I'll be looking for you. And for those of you who are in our second room near the food, there is a microphone in that room for you. So if you want to ask a question, you'll just head over towards the food, and I'm told the microphone is nearby. And those questions will find their way to me as well. Kurt. Casey Burt with OSU Cascades, 10 offices. What are you going to use the gift card for, Casey? You know what? Let's talk later. He's buying his friend some drinks. You can buy drinks on Amazon? I guess you can. I guess you can. How about a round of applause for Casey? It's so good to know that you know how to email Kurt. This is huge, actually. Something that will come in handy. Okay, on to tonight's companies, but I want to give some love to our sponsors. Our first update, provided by supporting sponsors COCC, Central Oregon Community College, provides workforce training that works, from career and technical education to apprenticeship opportunities, leadership workshops to the Small Business Development Center. COCC is the source for entrepreneurial, workforce, and business education services. Find out how COCC can help you develop the customized training you need to take your business and your employees to the next level. Contact COCC's Ken Betchart to learn more. And Ferguson Wellman. Ferguson Wellman and its division West Bearing Investments customizes investment portfolios for individuals and institutions, and recently began Octavia Group, a suite of personal financial services and family office programs. For market updates and wealth management information, please visit and subscribe to their blog on their website. That's fergusonwellman.com. fergusonwellman.com. Altitude Beverages has set out to put a lot into a little can and make it healthy without it tasting too healthy, if that makes sense. Their unique blend of functional adaptogens is designed to give your body everything it needs to start the day off right. Their products have 0% THC, are gluten-free, create no jitters, are non-GMO, naturally sweetened, and plant-based. I don't know what more you could possibly ask for a shelf-stable grab-and-go drink. Join me in welcoming founder and CEO of Altitude Beverages, Thomas Angel. Hi, Thomas.
That was a fantastic introduction. I don't even know if I need to talk. Well, good evening, and I'm going to attempt to do a giveaway, hopefully a little bit better response rate than Kurt's. It's not booze, so maybe not. If you go to Instagram on your phones and you search our handle, Altitude Bev, B-E-V, and you follow us and you like our most recent post and comment whatever you want to comment, good, bad, indifferent, that'll enter you into a giveaway, and we'll give you a free case of our Everything Latte and some cool swag. And hopefully we can do this all while I talk. And yeah, so Altitude Beverages, we're on a mission to make functional ingredients delicious and accessible. And you know, when I say functional ingredients, I think some people, their eyes kind of gloss over a little bit. So what do I mean by functional ingredients? These are hemp-derived CBD, functional mushrooms like chaga, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, rhodiola, ashwagandha, probably stuff that you see at your local co-op or Newport Ave Market. And it was new for us too. Just to give a little bit of context as to why we started Altitude, why we're doing all this. My wife and I spent the last few years living in Beijing, China, and repatriated because of the pandemic. And upon repatriating, we had a lot of friends who were very enthusiastic about these functional ingredients and the benefits that they have. Everything from immune support to cognitive support, anti-inflammatory support, you name it. So we started to try to take them. And it was pretty hard because the majority of these ingredients are powders and tinctures and things that were not a part of our existing routine. And yet we were determined, because as we did take them, we did start to realize some benefits. So the easiest way for us to try to maintain some consistency with these ingredients was to put it into our morning coffee. We're Colombian, it's like religion to us. We always drink our cup of coffee in the morning. And we realized that this is the same for 2/3 of US adults. And so even with that, it was still hard to maintain that routine. It was really easy to fall out. Standing near kitchen counters with turmeric, spending an extra 5 minutes, shaking up these powders, them floating to the top after not drinking it for 10 seconds. And so we kind of thought to ourselves, well, there's got to be ready-to-drink options out there. And, there certainly are. But as you said in your intro, a lot of them are very healthy tasting and, perfectly fine with that. But we're kind of your average consumer where in order to maintain a routine, it should taste good. It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be like punishment. And so we decided in the summer of 2020 after repatriation, well, let's start a beverage company. Let's do this. Let's make them delicious and let's make them accessible. So what do you do when you start a beverage company? You move to Bend, Oregon. And so we did in the fall of 2020 with our sights on making those functional ingredients delicious and accessible. And I'll say a quick shout out here. Bend has been a phenomenal place across the board, especially from a business community perspective. We've had so much help from people within the beverage and outside the beverage space here. So really very appreciative of that. But yeah, so we moved here in the fall of 2020. And we launched with our first product, the Everything Latte, which is on some of the tables here. We've got a cooler over by check-in with samples for everybody to try. And incorporated all those things that we really wanted in our morning coffee. So 30 milligrams of hemp-derived CBD, 4 functional mushrooms, chaga, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, turmeric, cocoa powder, cinnamon, using oat milk, so it's all plant-based, and then agave as a low glycemic sweetener. In launching in June of last year, it's been an amazing ride. We're in about 100 accounts across the West Coast, from Washington down to California, and most significantly, and I'm happy to announce, it's official. The ink is dry. We've signed on with Columbia Distributing to distribute our products more broadly through Washington, Oregon, and then hopefully. Northern California. And who's buying our products, right? What is our target market? It's kind of all over the board. Our initial kind of thought were, millennials who are getting into functional mushrooms, right? People who are following Paul Stamets, who are starting to realize these benefits. But we're seeing across the spectrum, all different kinds of demographics. I think really for what we try to, summarize it as is, people who are trying to live a better life, trying to incrementally improve their routine and trying to do it in a way where it doesn't feel like punishment. And sort of surprisingly for us, we've seen a pretty decent uptick in sort of that 50+ segment because these are people who are reading about and hearing from their friends things like CBD being good for anti-inflammatory and joint relief. But they just want to drink a cup of coffee. So across the board, we've seen some things that have reinforced where our original market sort of expectations were, but it's grown beyond that. And where are we headed? So as I mentioned, we're increasing our distribution. We're talking with distributors on a national and regional scale in other parts of the country. We're about to launch 2 new flavors, a matcha and a chai, because unbeknown to me, not everybody drinks coffee. Not everybody loves coffee the same way we do. So we got enough customer feedback that matcha and chai were kind of those other sort of breakfast type drinks that people were gravitating towards. And yeah, same profile there, 30 milligrams CBD, the same functional stack in a can, ready to drink. Our goals is basically to be that differentiated functional beverage company with CBD. It is a growing segment. It is an area where there's a lot of grayness to it. That's why there's not a ton of people in the space. It's also why Pepsi and Nestle and Coke aren't playing in it as well. It certainly provides its challenges. As I was talking with Columbia Bank before we started this, it took us like 4 months to open up a bank account. So it's definitely, it presents its challenges, but we see a massive opportunity being a first mover, and also importantly, a differentiation by not having another CBD seltzer or CBD water, where most of the players are playing right now. In terms of where we're heading, in terms of that sort of market size, we're trying to tap into a market that last year was about $1 billion. And if regulation can continue to open up, by 2026 we'll be a $14 billion CBD beverage market. So definitely a lot of incentive for us in this space. And how do we get there? We need help. We're small. We're bootstrapped. My wife came from software development. I came from aviation. We're learning every day. I think we've got a great product, but in order to capitalize on the opportunity, we need help across the board. Everything from resources, financially. We're currently about to do our first outside raise, to finding partners, whether that be advisors, whether that be other people in the consumer beverage space, team members. Definitely a lot of need in the operations side of the house, as I'm sure anybody right now who has manufacturing is experiencing. It's challenging, but we feel positioned for this next phase with the resources that we do have, but we certainly would like to amplify that to be able to capitalize on the growth opportunities in front of us. That's Altitude Functional Beverages. I don't know if there was enough people for the the giveaway to announce a winner, but I guess we could.
Well, we'll keep talking. Let's do some questions. I have like 46 questions for
Please.
you.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so how did you come up with the formulation? Was this trial and error? Did you have an advisor? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough that we had a kitchen recipe to start, so it wasn't like kind of going out there and doing a ton of consumer data, which probably wasn't the best idea. It was a bit of a gamble, but we felt confident enough. But in order to make that a scalable, industrialized recipe, we did go with a formulator. So somebody who's a food scientist, people who can take your kitchen recipe and be able to standardize it
and accomplish what you set out to do, which is so cool.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about the no jitters part, because I can't drink coffee. I'll be on the ceiling. So I am a matcha drinker, but I'm interested in your product because I feel like the additional ingredients help kind of curb that spike in insanity that happens for some of us. And I'm just wondering if you can speak to what the effects are, what the thinking was in the no jitters goal.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's where I think for us, where we've kind of started to shift our brand based off of consumer feedback is, with adding all those functional ingredients into it, specifically the CBD and the functional mushrooms, it does help to balance out that peak and trough that typically people get from coffee, or I should say more overconsumption of coffee. Yeah. And that's been one of the number one things that we've heard from consumers is, hey, I drink this, and I'm able to actually focus. And more importantly, I'm getting that feeling that I want from coffee, which is to be awake and to be alert.
And not running for the bathroom. I mean, there's a reason why there's a lot of coffee memes out there. Am I right? Okay, well, anyways, any questions from the audience? Questions from the audience? Yes. Strange science question. Bring it on. What about putting L-theanine into your coffee? That's a great question. That would really confuse us.
Yeah, no, it's L-theanine. It's a great amino acid from green tea. We have looked into it, and actually, we will be incorporating it into our new product line of basically alcohol alternative beverages. So, kind of our concept here is routine base, and so we see L-theanine being more on that nootropic spectrum of stuff that's going to replicate the feelings that people want from alcohol. So certainly we're looking at L-theanine, but just not for the coffee.
My God, I'm just like nerding out so hard right now. Any other questions from the audience? I mean, I'll keep going. I have plenty of questions. Any questions? Okay, I just want to make sure. Yes? Okay?
Yeah, I got a question for you. So when I take supplements, sometimes I'm afraid to actually take them with my coffee because I'm concerned that my body can absorb them. So do I actually not be supposed to have that?
So we have a gentleman in the back who is having supplement taking anxiety. He is afraid to take them with his coffee. He's worried his body will reject them.
No, not that my body would reject them. That the caffeine would actually
Counteract.
That the caffeine would That's a great question. Does the caffeine flush the supplements through his system too quickly for them to have benefits?
I will qualify this by saying I'm not a food scientist. I got an economics background, so no, I don't know the exact answer to that. With coffee being a diuretic, in our experience, it's more about that consistency, and that's typically with these supplements, right? The name of the game is consistency, and so for us, with coffee being the most consistently drank beverage, it's about sneaking that in.
Well, and the serving size is what, like 8 ounces?
Yeah.
And you're suggesting people have one?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 120 milligrams of caffeine in the can, so that's about a cup and a half of coffee.
Yeah, that's a fair amount.
Yeah.
Do people ever drink it warm, or they always drink it cold?
We get this question a lot. You certainly can. The consumer's always right. If you want to pour it into a mug and heat it up, you are more than welcome to do it.
Cool.
I mean, it is cold brew, so...
So it's basically cocaine for people like me. Just something to keep in mind. If you have no experience with it, ease in. Yes. He goes insane. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I love this question. He also has a thing with caffeine, and he's wondering, but like sometimes he wants a little bit.
Sure.
So can you make something that has a sometimes caffeine, or like a half dose, or a...
And so that's partly why we did the matcha and the chai. So the matcha is around 76 milligrams of caffeine, so around kind of a standard cup of coffee, whereas the chai is 33 milligrams, so about a half cup of coffee. So.
And the matcha is kind of a different type. Microdose caffeine. Now we're getting somewhere. And the matcha is a little bit different in its caffeine. It's not like so much a spike of insanity. It's kind of like rolling into your day. It's a little different.
Sure, and that's partly because of things like L-theanine.
L-theanine. Mm-hmm. So cool. I mean, so I'm taking all of these powders you're talking about. I mean, my counter is just it's a full-on nightmare. So I love what you've done, that you have combined all of this into one tiny can. But do you offer it in a bulk size?
We have it, and I think, there are companies out there doing that really well. I mean, just Laird Superfood up the road, and Sisters, Four Sigmatic, Mudwater. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who I think are doing a good job in kind of the powder space. We've had people ask that, right? But I think for us, our kind of focus is that accessibility and that ready-to-drink spectrum.
I gotta say, I love those slim cans. There's just something about that silhouette of the slim can. You could squeeze it into a pocket, It's really, it's really great. Okay, do I have any final questions? Yes. Great question. Tell us about your CBD. How do you extract it, and why 30 milligrams? How did you settle on 30?
Yeah, so we use a partner out of Seattle called Source Technologies, and they're kind of positioning themselves as the Gore-Tex or the Vibram of the CBD world. And so kind of their competitive advantage for us is just that clarity and that visibility. We're able to, on our website, post a certificate of analysis from their reports, in addition to a third-party lab in Portland. In addition, they do a flavorless and odorless emulsion, so you don't get that kind of hempy, let's just say weedy flavor, which is, for some people they want that, right? And for some brands that is a core part of the element. For us, in coffee, I don't think that we want that, and I don't think our consumers do either. We also use an isolate to really ensure that there is no THC content in there for those people who are concerned about, taking a drug test. And also from the benefit perspective that we see is more that anti-inflammatory as opposed to that broad or full spectrum where you're getting that real sort of kind of chilled out effect. And the 30 milligrams, it's a little bit of a differentiator. I mean, I think for us, seeing the marketplace a lot of products are doing 5, 10, very, very small quantities. And we only think that you should drink 1 can. You know, if you want to drink more, go for it. I mean, we're not going to say no, but we want to make it effective dose in terms of being able to only have 1 can.
Very generous of you.
try.
I just wonder, like one day, maybe 10 years from now, you could have a little like a altitude micro dose, if you know what I mean, or like actually one that did have THC. I don't know. It's just an idea I had. We could talk another time. Thomas, thank you so much. I loved your presentation. I love the product. There are samples around. Make sure you get one.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Oh, yes.
Do we have a winner?
Cameron.Burns7.
Is that Cameron from Algafy?
Is it-
Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll make sure we
Very
get that to you.
cool. And what was the prize?
It's altitude.
The prize is good one. Aaron. Yes. Yeah, you're moving around. Oh, great
Sure.
question. Are there any restrictions age-wise? Are there any disclaimers on the can or any restrictions, markings on the can that say who this is for?
So the short answer is no. It's part of that kind of gray area that the space is right now. You know, from a federal perspective, there is no like guidance even on the state level of, you know, you have to be 18 or older or 21 or older, which is something that we're welcoming, but it's just not quite there yet. What you are seeing is certain retailers making their own regulations. So like Newport Ave Market, it's 18 and older. Other places it's 21 and older. But yeah, it's very variable, and we welcome more regulation on that.
Welcome to the Wild West of beverages. I tell you what. Thank you so much.
you.
This is great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Really excited to see what happens next. And like I said, there are samples all over the place. Make sure you get yourself one of those cute little slim cans. You can heat it up, but I'm told it's best served cold, and you want to give it a good shake to get all those functional ingredients. All right. Our second company update is sponsored by BBSI. BBSI has been supporting businesses in Central Oregon for over 20 years with payroll, HR and recruiting, risk and safety, and business consulting services. BBSI is honored to sponsor PubTalk and partner with EDCO to support sustainable economic development in Central Oregon, and SGA CPAs, who is now Sensiba San Filippo. What happened? Did y'all drink some of that coffee? Everyone just woke up. SGA CPAs, now Sensiba San Filippo, is proud to be a sponsor of this event. They are especially grateful to have the opportunity to share some exciting updates. In addition to our tax and audit services, this expansion means that they now offer a much wider range of services. And one exciting new service line is R&D tax credits. This dollar-for-dollar credit can be used to reinvest into new research and product development, hire top talent, or even funnel back into marketing to increase sales. Up next is Dave Chun, co-owner at Bend Surf, and some of you may recognize him from his Kealoha days. There is an undeniable absurdity to the existence of a surf shop in Bend, a very obvious mountain town, but in the words of surfer Jerry Lopez, surf is where you find it. The Bend Surf story started with Dave Chun needing a riverboard to surf the river wave at the Bend Whitewater Park. So he built one, and then he refined it, and then he built another, and he would sell them off to keep building the next one and support his habit. Dave has lived this story before. He and his wife Meg are former owners of Kealoha Paddles, a company they started in the backyard of Dave's parents' home in Kailua, Hawaii, and moved to Bend in 1992. Kealoha grew to have worldwide sales in stand-up paddle boards and paddles, outrigger paddles, and dragon boat paddles. So Dave, I hear you have a bit of an unpitch for us tonight. You're gonna tell us it's part pitch, it's part update, a little bit of where you're at now. I can't wait to hear more. Oh, there you are, come on up. Thanks, Aaron.
I've got props.
Can we get an wow. Nice. There's another one. Ooh, ah. Those are beautiful. Thanks, Dave.
Wow. Hi. So I'm Dave Chun from Bendventure. This isn't really a pitch. Not really looking for anything. So basically, this is here to talk to you about why simple's not a step backwards. So we opened the doors to Bendventure on April 1st, 2021. That is April Fool's Day. Because we really understood, it seemed like the perfect day because it is absolutely absurd to open a surf shop in Bend. The question is why we did it. And a lot of the reason is because I like surfing. And, you know, we have our wave here in Bend. The other part was when we kind of started to walk away from Kealoha, that was a huge part of our lives, the community of surfing, community of paddling, and we kind of were changing our roles there. So a great attraction was being part of this surfing community that was welcoming us. A couple of the noisy guys in the back, that's the surfers, a couple of my friends showed up, so this is kind of nice. That's the kind of thing I wanted to be part of. So when I'm building a surfboard, I just find this like Zen-like peace. It just connects with me so well. At the same time, when I sell a surfboard, I just feel this surge of adrenaline. And then when I get the calls from the surfers, they're telling me they had this great day on a board I built them, I just feel this high. And it just keeps me coming back. The Kilo Paddles, a company my wife Meg and I sold in 2018, we had sales reps, we had a sales team. In fact, I see one out here. We had a marketing person, we had shippers, we had consultants, we had outsourced manufacturers. It was absolutely endless, the things that we had. And me as the designer of Kilo and the brand face, I traveled 100 days a year. I spent most of my time speccing parts, doing quality checks, writing brand scripts and blogs. I'd interact with the customers when I went to an event, but as we grew, I saw them less and less. It got to the point where we got to a size where basically we were kind of protecting my privacy and not letting people get near me. I was actually the lucky one because I actually got to do things related to paddling. Meg, in her role as CEO, basically her days were filled with, financial things or talking to the attorney, filing taxes, and she was interested in this stuff, but it's really stressful, and it was just a huge time commitment on her part. So we're finishing out a 2-year work contract, and then COVID hits, and everything just shuts down. Literally, the new factory was up in Washington, and they shut down. And so they shut us down. We were working remote in Bend. So suddenly we had all this time to think about what we're going to do after Kealoha. Up in that time, you're hanging on. This business you've had for, 28 years, you're hanging on to the idea of, maybe they'll hire me on as a consultant. Maybe I can get medical insurance. Maybe you have all these thoughts going through your head. But suddenly, it just drops and it ends, and you go like, well, we got to think of something else, and we got to think about the rest of our lives. We basically started Bendventure much in the same way we started Kealoha, which is kind of like this grassroots type of thing. Kealoha was special ed teacher, and social worker husband. They start building outrigger paddles in their parents' backyard in Kailua. And then they move the business to Oregon, you know, kind of like, that's utterly ridiculous, you know, because all our customers are in Hawaii. So Ben Surf started in the same way. It's a grassroots business. You know, COVID shut down. Meg, my nephew Jack, and I, we get together and we put together a small business plan, a pro forma, because we decided we wanted to investigate the idea of having a surf shop. You know, it's embarrassing to say this, but while I was under contract, I had already built a shaping bay and a glassing room in one of the Kealoha units. So, I mean, I do own the unit, so it was actually okay. So, you know, I'd already been building boards and already for myself and my close friends. And that was just like how the paddle business started, you know. One of the things we talked about was our main objective was to have a local business. In our relationship, Meg and I, she is the business mind. You know, basically, I'm a throwback to a time when, you know, if your name was shoemaker or carpenter, you knew what the person did for a living. So in that sense, we tailored Ben Surf to kind of what my strengths are in business, and that is minimal. You know? So what we did was we have this plan to be simple. So one of the parts of the plan is I'm willing to work for less money. You know, one of the byproducts of being old is you basically have a lot of shit. I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I mean, I really don't need more stuff to live a comfortable life. I understand that buying more things will not make me happier. The second thing that we wanted to focus on was local customers. And the reason was we want our customer to walk in the door. We had a guy from Germany. They have a river wave there. It's called Ansbach. It's in Munich. And that's like, they claim to be the I don't know, the original river surfers. I'm sure some guy in Idaho or Colorado would dispute that. But anyway, this German guy calls us up, writes to nephew Jack, and he says, "Oh, we want to buy a surfboard from you, you know?" And I'm like, "I don't want to do that. I don't want to ship a board to Germany." And so Jack looks into it. He goes, "Oh, this is a hassle. We don't want to ship one to Germany." So anyway, the guy ends up having a DHL account. So we agree to it because all I got to do is put it in the box. And we agree to sell the guy the board. But basically, you know, walk in, walk out. It does not get any simpler than that. We have a near zero marketing strategy. We have a website. The purpose of the website was no wholesaler was going to sell anything to me unless I had a website. It was like verification that I was actually in business. You know, yeah, do you have a website? I'm like, what? You know, but you know, so we had to have a website. So Jack set the website up because that's not something I know anything about. Our main method of marketing is to surf. And what I do is I take a quiver of boards with me and I loan the boards to people. You know, when people ask me, "Oh, do you give lessons or do you do demos?" I tell them, "Meet me at the wave at sunrise. There's no charge, just show up." Our brand strategy is basically word of mouth. You know, we want our brand to be based on relationships and connections. And basically we do this by our three values. And the three values are, these are Hawaiian words, you know, e komo mai. And basically all are welcome at Ben Surf. You know, in surfing, there can kind of be this little bit of in-group and out-group stuff. And that's just absolute crap. You know, so we try to be really welcoming. I'll spend an hour with a customer explaining things to them, and I really enjoy that. The other one is pono. And that's the endless process of trying to do the right thing. You know, basically, I make plastic objects. I'm acutely aware of my contributions to the landfill. So we strive to be Pono. Hanalike, which is working together. Basically, the community is the breath of life. There were also some personal considerations that went into opening the shop. One is I like surfing. I mean, I like surfing a lot. The other is I can't imagine a life without my shop. You know, I'm pretty highly introverted, and selling things are how I connect with people. I'm also pretty insecure, so selling things, the things that I build to people, it kind of validates my life. And to a large extent, that's why Ben Surf exists. You know, being a craftsman is how I relate to the world. The last thing is, I have a very close friend whose name is Jerry Lopez. And Jerry knows everybody in surfing and everything about surfing. And so I had a mentor going into this. In summary, we know surfers are interested in wave pools and river surfing. On Monday, Jamie O'Brien dropped a video on YouTube about surfing the Waimea River, and had 65,000 views in less than 24 hours. In Wave Pool Magazine today, I read that there are 150 to 200,000 new parks either in planning stage or being built. I'm sure all of you guys have heard about Kelly Slater's ranch. I understand there's plans for another wave to go in like Palm Springs or something like that. You know, but you know, the growth of the sport is going to follow the building of these parks. I know that. You know, there's a really nice one up in Chelan, Washington, Lakeside Surf. That thing's epic. Everybody should go there. I mean, I don't care if you surf or not, you should go there. But, you know, right now, we're just content to watch the growth. You know, we're kind of going to decide what we're going to do next as everything unfolds. The one thing I'm sure of at this point is that I really love building surfboards, and I really love being part of the Ben surfing community. So basically, if any of you guys want to try and surf the wave, it's really simple. Just call Ben Surf, get in touch with me, show up at sunrise, and I'll take you surfing. Thank you.
Dave, I think this was my favorite presentation anyone has ever given at EDCO. This was so touching. I appreciate your...
That's because I told you I was introverted and shy. He was being nice to me.
Yes, I identified with everything you said except for surfing the wave because I'm terrified of it. Okay, tell us how this is a different board from a regular surfboard.
The difference in most wave pools, and I shouldn't say most, some wave pools and the Ben River wave is we don't have to paddle. Boards generally have to be larger to be able to paddle into a wave. We just step off a wall, so we can ride a much smaller board.
Just step off a wall. Not really selling it to me, Dave. Gonna say, I'm not getting less scared. But we'll keep talking. We'll keep talking. Any questions from the audience for Dave? Yes. We have a testimonial coming in hot.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. His humility is real. He is what he says he is. Then what?
Thank you.
And less.
Thank you.
He'll talk to you like you're his best friend. Say that part again. Yeah. Ask them what they want. He's the real deal. Did you know that was going to happen? Did you know that was going to happen? I feel like we're
no.
at your like 50th birthday party, and everyone's like, Dave, you came through for me. Who else wants to cheer Dave? I have a question here. Thank you for that.
First, thanks for coming to share. It's
Thank you.
quite a story. I really appreciate hearing it. I'm a bigger guy, and I'm wondering about the board sizes. Do they accommodate, a larger daddy like myself, or the special order of larger boards?
So do larger people require larger boards for this sport?
Somewhat. We do size them to the individual. What you're talking about is why custom shapers will always have a job. No, it's because it's like tailored clothing, basically. We fit it to the person and fit it to their skill level. So absolutely, yes.
And then it becomes an item you have, I imagine, for a very long time.
Depends how clumsy you are.
Sir, how clumsy are you? Don't answer that. Okay, question back here. Okay. So this is a does size matter question. Can large, is this wave and bend, is it accommodating to men who are 6.5?
The wave doesn't discriminate. My buddy Barry Wicks is 6'5". He basically rides a board very similar in size to what I ride. I'm 5'7".
But does he have tiny feet?
No.
Okay.
No. I did ask Barry that. Look at the size of it.
This is getting great. Any other questions? Any other questions back here? I do want to say, shout out to Jerry Lopez. What a treasure.
Yeah.
Not many people know this, but in 2014, Jerry and I were voted hottest yoga teachers in Bend, Oregon by source readers.
Oh, that's something.
That's a big deal. Wow. Dave, can't believe we haven't met yet.
You got to surf.
You know I'm going to pull random stuff out like that. It's my gift. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, red sweater. How can the community help you, bring people to you? Great question.
Well, tell your friends. Tell them to come surfing. Tell them to give it a try. This is what I always think in my head. Like my buddies back there, like Spencer and Jay. Those guys are like hotshot athletes, and they just rip on the wave. Me, I'm like an old clumsy man. I'm serious. I mean, like I was like, when I first started, I was just like, I'm not really certain that this is going to work out because everything's kind of happening fast. But what I found out was that one is the people were really accepting of me, even though like one guy was like, Hunter, I was like, how old are you? He goes, 18. And he says, Dave, how old are you? I'm like, 65. He's like, my grandfather's 65. Just like, oh. Yeah, but just invite people to try. Anybody can do this. If I can do this, anybody can do this.
I don't know if that's a thing, Dave, but okay. Okay, Dave. Legit, is he a clumsy old man? Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, well, okay. So this is like a multi-level, there's a lot of layers going on here, Dave. Any other questions? I think I had another one back over here somewhere. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Is it realistic that a wave park or like a Kelly Slater type wave might come to Bend?
Is it realistic that a Kelly Slater type wave park might come to Bend someday?
Earlier in the week, I would have said no. As of today, that's a maybe.
What happened today,
okay,
Dave?
So I talked to Aaron. A wave like Kelly Slater's wave, I don't believe that would come to Bend. And there's a couple of reasons why. Mainly, it has to do with you can't run it year round over here. And I think what that type of wave, Kelly Slater's wave the pool is 700 yards long. It's big. It's not like the wave pool up in Lakeside Surf in Chelan. That one's like a big swimming pool. That could be here. But Kelly's wave, probably not. The other thing that I think, the reason Kelly's wave works in Lemoore, California, which is like in the farmlands, right? Is it's about, like 2 hours from Los Angeles. You can drive it. So you need to be able to have that type of wave Kelly's near a place where you got people with lots of money. It costs about $50,000 to $70,000 a day to rent Kelly's wave. Even with $50,000 to $70,000, you can't just sign up. You got to know somebody who knows the guy who might get you into signing up. It's like really super exclusive. But the type of wave they have up in Lakeside, it's like tourists. They go to Chelan. All of us in Bend are driving 6.5 hours to go ride that wave because it's such an epic wave. Like, I don't mean to demean our wave, but our wave's a 1 compared to theirs, which is a 10.
Wow. Wow, Dave, you just threw down so hard on our wave. And let me get this straight. People are driving 2 hours away from the coast to surf. That's where we're at. 1.5, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we give it 1.5.
Thank you. I've walked past it a number of times, and I hear it's a great place to meet dudes.
Yeah.
So just another hot tip for y'all.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I really would just love for you to keep talking. I hope you will come back at some point, but I'm wondering, any other questions for Dave while he's here? Yes. You want to give some more props to Dave? That's cool. Is it true? Wait, that you got to go to where? Lemoore? Kelly Slater's wave. Okay, thank you.
Allegedly.
Was it true that you got to go to, so did you get in? You got to go to Kelly Slater's wave during the pandemic? You knew someone who knew someone? You drove 2 hours from the coast and then?
I know, I know Lopez. I surf with Jerry.
It's a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true you're 1 degree away from the Grateful Dead? We are going.
Maybe. Yeah.
Is it true your name is Stewie? Did I meet you at a wedding on July 24th? You told me a bunch of wacky stories? Yes, I did. Nice to see you again. Wow, this is special. I just got chills.
I think he means Eddie Vedder. Yeah, right?
Hey, you know what? I have a friend who almost ran over Dave Matthews at the University Village in Seattle. What other stories can we tell tonight?
Yeah. So I'm sitting in the lineup at Kelly's. Every wave is worth about $500. And it's like, it's so nerve-wracking. You hear this thing, they call out the wave. There's like CT1, CT2. That means Championship Tour. That's the barreling wave. So I hear this, CT1, and then all of a sudden you hear the thing whirling up. It's the motor, the cable on this thing. And, it's so nerve-wracking. You miss the wave, and they only generate a wave every 4 minutes. So you're going to wait out there for, I don't know, another half hour. And in an hour, you might get to surf 3-4 waves. You get very few shots of this. I've driven 12 hours. I may only get 4 waves. You don't want to screw up. So here's Eddie Vedder, and he's talking to me. He introduced himself as Ed, and I kind of didn't know who he was. So he's sitting there, and he's telling me, he's like, don't worry, everybody gets nervous at this thing, and he's being really calming. And it's like, it's really hard to learn how to surf on this wave. It has a lot of idiosyncrasies, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, this is so cool. Eddie Vedder is kind of trying to calm me down. Hey, the next time I play somewhere near you, I'll give you some tickets. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. But I feel so out of place because I'm not that guy. Yeah. Anyhow, that's the Eddie Vedder story. He is truly a nice guy.
I mean, I imagine you're in this thing. You're surrounded by cool people. These are cool people you're surrounded by. Like, it's extremely nerve-wracking.
Cool people and really good surfers. So, like, everybody there is just like, well, one is they're like 30 or younger. And then the other one is like, they're all these industry giants. And, I'm like, what do you do? Like, I make surfboards in Bend, Oregon.
No, that's the coolest. Come on, Dave. That's the coolest. People.
No.
on, people would kill to move to Bend, Oregon to build surfboards. You're living the dream. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
I don't know, not to that crowd.
Well, you know what? They're lost. So there's something happening in the chicken line at the next room. You guys have a question over there, or you just dropped it into the gravy? What's happening with the microphone? Was there a question in the second room? No, okay, we're just, wow. Last chance, final questions. Okay, Dave, such an honor. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Go see Dave at his shop. Go learn how to surf in the middle of the high desert. Stranger things have happened. Dave, the other thing I think too, like, are there surfers out there right now, or does the wave shut down when it's 10 degrees? No water. No water. That's a thought. It got canceled. How about another round of applause for Dave? I've just got like one single tear threatening to slide down my cheek. That was heartfelt, Dave. I really needed it. Our keynote sponsors, COAR, the Central Oregon Association of Realtors, is the voice of real estate industry in Crook, Deschutes, Jefferson, and Harney counties. COAR's members strive to build better communities by supporting quality growth, seeking sustainable economies, and housing opportunities. And of course, Ben Broadband is honored to be a continued sponsor of PubTalk and proud to be a part of the Central Oregon community. Did you know that Ben Broadband offers a business referral program? That's right, you can get a side hustle going by getting rewarded for each qualified business referral you make. Go to benbroadband.com/business for details and to make referrals. My friend Rob Little founded CAIRN in early 2014, guiding the company through 7 years of strategy, growth, and fundraising prior to leading the company through an acquisition by Outside in 2021. Before starting CAIRN, Rob worked as an engineer for Lockheed Martin and spent 2 years as a Peace Corps volunteer in Latin America. During his free time, Rob can be found backpacking, skiing, biking, and paddleboarding with friends, his wife Betsy, daughters Kennedy and Brooklyn, and their Cairn Terrier Rocco. Tell me more, Rob. Here to deliver Outside's acquisition of CAIRN, the story and their future, is Outside Senior Director, Commerce Operations, and former co-founder and co-CEO at CAIRN, Mr. Rob Little. Come on up, Rob.
Thanks for the intro and for the invitation. Dave, you're amazing. I don't know Eddie Vedder. Anyone looking for... Okay. No Eddie Vedder stories here, but Dave, you're an inspiration. I love what you're building. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to the EDCO team for the invitation. It's hard for me to believe that in 2 months will mark 8 years since I first took the stage at a PubTalk event where I pitched the original idea for CAIRN. We were in the second month of our business. As preparation for this, I went back and I looked at my notes for what we pitched 8 years ago, what I pitched 8 years ago. And I was very proud on the stage to announce that the month before, our first month, we had opened and shipped 30 boxes around the country. That month, the month we were pitching, we had doubled that number and we're shipping 70 boxes around the country. I made a comment that my mother only bought one of those boxes. Here we are 8 years later. We've shipped just over 3 million products around the country and the globe. Thanks. We've collected not quite 1 million product reviews. We're one of the largest product review collectors in the outdoor and recreation industry. And my mother has hardly made a dent in those sales, so still true today. It's been a wild ride over the last 8 years, and my hope this evening is to share the ups and downs with you, some of the highs and lows over the course of that experience. Also share with you the story of our acquisition. We were acquired not quite a year ago by Outside. That might invoke an image of a magazine that you've seen on a newsstand or in an airport somewhere. We weren't bought by the legacy magazine company. I'll tell you more about that story in just a minute. But first, for those of you that weren't familiar with our business, who was CAIRN? What was CAIRN? My business partner, Jared, and I, Aaron wants me to hold this even closer. Is that better, Aaron? What was CAIRN? What is CAIRN? So my business partner, Jared, and I started this venture with the objective to create a creative commerce company for the outdoor industry. What does that mean? Well, the commerce world is changing. That's not news to anyone. It started changing 2 decades ago. Brick and mortar ruled for a long time. And then came along the internet. And with the internet brought a commoditized commerce experience. It was all driven by convenience and economics. How fast can I get something and how cheap can I get it? And clearly Amazon has won that battle. But for every consumer, it's our belief that there exists a category that you want more than just a commoditized experience. It's not about how fast or how cheap can I get something. You have a passion in your life that you want to experience a different commerce experience through. For some, it's art. For some, it's clothing, apparel. It's cosmetics. For my wife, it's horseback riding. For me, it's the outdoors and recreation. I don't look for those products on Amazon. I want a different experience when I'm buying them. 10 years ago, there were a number of businesses that were starting to embark on creating a different relationship between consumers and brands. Stitch Fix, Trunk Club, Rent the Runway, Warby Parker, Casper, Away Luggage. These companies were all on an inflection point of something new and unique in the retail industry that wasn't a commoditized experience. And as Jared and I looked at the industry of retail and the models, we couldn't see a single example in the outdoor or the recreational industry. And it was our objective to try and find the right model to bring to an industry that we were passionate about to change how customers buy products. As we looked over the course of that industry, what we discovered was that subscription would be a really good way to create community and to build a quickly growing business. This concept of the month club was interesting to us, but also a little odd and not quite what we wanted to stake our entire future on. One thing, though, that we realized as we were exploring the industry and the concepts of what sort of a retail business to start was that potentially data could change the background of the business. And so there's a Trojan horse built into the entire business model around product reviews. We all know the enthusiastic outdoors man or woman who's interested in just sharing their love for their tent or their jacket or their surfboard, whatever it is they recently brought. And trying to get that information is not hard. Could we mine it for data that could then lead the business down a future road or future opportunities? That was our objective. Fast forward 8 years, the subscription model is the biggest component of what we built. It still is today. We tried and tested many things along the way. We had a try before you buy product, very similar to what Stitch Fix offers. We had an auction offering, a reverse Dutch auction offering that was value driven. We had a gear recycling program, all of which were building momentum as we entered into COVID and sort of an unknown era for us. COVID hit and we hunkered down. We weren't sure what to expect. We're a vitamin. We're not a prescription. People didn't need what we did or what we sold. We were worried the economy could fall out and it could be the end of our business. So what we discovered was actually the opposite. COVID injected growth into our model. We were outdoor, we were recreational, we were direct to consumer. All of those elements thrived at the beginning of COVID. We had an individual who came across our business at the start of that. Actually, forgive me, there's some highs and lows over the course of that experience before I get into the transaction. There were a lot of highs. There were some tremendous highs. So first, you all, Bend, this community. What an inspiration and what a welcoming place to start a business. I think I could stand up here for the 20 minutes that I'm given and just speak to all of the walks, the beers, the coffees, the meals that I was given by many of you in this room, and many that have moved on, and the inspiration you provided to an early business owner. I would gladly start this business all over again here in Bend. It's a special place that we have, and you guys love your entrepreneurs. Thank you for that. Another high, riding the wave of big growth in business. Wow, is it an inspiration. 3 years in, we qualified to apply for the Forbes Fastest Growing Business Awards. Some of you have probably seen them on newsstands before. The way, at least in 2017, they ran them is they took the previous 3 years' growth and they measured it as a percentage. How fast did you grow over those 3 years? And they rank you. we were excited to apply 3 years into our business. There's a nuance in how you apply. You have to have $100,000 in revenue for your first year in business. We had a little over $100,000 in booked revenue. We had a little less than $100,000 in earned revenue. I'm guessing there's an accountant or two in the room that's perking up and really excited right now at those terms. I'll leave it to them to explain later to anybody that's curious what those mean. They'll probably go off on a tangent about the airline industry when they do. It turns out that Forbes only cares about earned revenue. They don't care about booked revenue. So we were disqualified from the 2017 awards. When the actual awards came out, I went and looked and I filtered through and I ran our numbers, and we were the 22nd fastest growing company in the country, private company in the country in 2017. Riding that wave and experiencing how quickly a business can grow and the momentum that it creates. That's an adrenaline rush that I don't know if I'll ever get in another experience in life. And absolutely a high for us in building CAIRN. Raising capital. We raised $2.5 million over the course of the 8 years, almost all of it concentrated between years 3 and 4. And a special experience. Some incredible mentors, friends, lifelong acquaintances that I built through that process. Folks that invested more than just their money into our business. They invested their time, their heart, their passion. Folks that I'm excited and hopeful that I get the opportunity to work with again. An absolute high for us. And last but not least, building a team. Many people in our business I spent more time with on a weekly basis than I did my own family. And you grow to love these folks. They become family in their own regards. That's special and something that I think any business owner looks back on and is proud of. Over the course of that, though, there's definitely some lows and some challenges. For us, the perils of customer acquisition was absolutely at the top of that list. Our business thrived early on by taking advantage of the Facebook marketplace and advertising platform, and Facebook not understanding the value of the mechanism that they had, and us being early adopters into advertising on Facebook and riding an incredible wave. Over the course of a couple of years, Facebook figured out what they had. Facebook and Google rules the marketing world now. They are essentially attacks on businesses, and until the next creative marketing channel comes around, the next new platform, it's hard. There are not many businesses that are winning on the acquisition front. That was our biggest hurdle in continuing to grow as we built CAIRN. I would say that the second challenge, or second low that I would mention, is scaling back. We were on such a momentous ride out of the early years that we grew our team and we grew our business in ways that outpaced our revenue, expecting the revenue to catch up. Scaling back a business, I think, is harder than scaling up a business. It has tolls on a team and tolls on individuals, relationships that are hard. And if anything, I'm as proud of how we managed those moments as we did managing the growth up. That all said, I think some of the biggest highs and lows for us came in a 60-day window not quite a year ago. Let me rewind the clock a little more than a year. Let's go back to the summer of 2020. A colleague of ours in the outdoor industry introduced us to an individual named Robin Thurston. Robin was well known in the outdoor industry for creating a business called MapMy Fitness, MapMy Run, MapMy Ride, sort of a second place finisher to Strava in this community. I'm guessing we've got some King of the Hills and Queen of the Hills in the room here in Strava. The MapMy business was a marriage of the social media world and fitness tracking and app world. Robin built an incredible platform there. He had moved on to his second business called Pocket Outdoor Media. And Pocket Outdoor Media was creating some momentum in the outdoor industry because they were aggregating, they were acquiring a lot of content-oriented businesses. Businesses like Ski Magazine, Rock and Ice, Warren Miller Films, Backpacker, Healthy Living, some name brands in our industry. And at the outset, it sort of looked like there was just a roll-up of content going on. We got on the phone with Robin, and we learned there was a lot more to that model than met the eye. Robin was focused on what Disney Plus or Netflix or Amazon Prime had done to their industry. And that was essentially creating a membership model that gave consumers a myriad of benefits where they were inspired or motivated to treat their membership as one of the most valued components of their monthly or annual budget, that they wouldn't let it go because there was just too many benefits to turn away. And his philosophy when it came to the outdoor, the active lifestyle industry was Take your, many examples here, but take your casual runner, somebody that embarks for the first time on running a marathon. They are setting off on a 6 to 12 month journey where they will consume content. They will build and track a training plan and a fitness plan or a dietary plan. They'll register for an event. They'll buy photos after an event. They'll consume product along the way, shoes and jerseys and other products. Every single one of those in our industry is its own unique relationship between the consumer and the brand. There are many touch points, there's many account creations, there's many subscriptions that have to be built in order for that customer to embark on that journey to run a marathon. His philosophy was, why not create one environment, one singular membership, where for both convenience and economics, they can get everything they need through a singular platform. And when he pitched this to us and he said, you see only content today, but that's just one spoke of this wheel. There are many spokes, and commerce is a spoke for us. Would you, CAIRN, be interested in building our entire commerce model? And as we looked at it, there were two value propositions right out of the gate. The first was, they have a massive audience. There are a lot of individuals that are flowing through their subscription base to their magazine or their website or their social media accounts. Presumably that could be the solution to one of our biggest challenges to grow, customer acquisition. We could take those customers, presumably free, and pass them through our existing services, and that would balloon the business. And then second, sort of rip the roof off of our business and said, the sky's the limit. What do you imagine for content and commerce and the marriage between them? Most commerce businesses start off by selling product, discovering they have a traffic issue, and then starting to create content to try and drive traffic back to buy their product. They had the opposite approach to content and commerce, which was unique and something that's inspirational. They have millions of articles and consumers that flow through organically to read those articles. How do you appropriately inject commerce into that experience? That was an opportunity that we didn't want to turn down. That was exciting for us. So we embarked upon an LOI, letter of intent. We signed in January, just after the new year, 2021. We were going to sell the business, and we were on a 90-day journey to sell the business. I said a few minutes ago that there was a 60-day window of highs and lows. The first 30 days of that period, nothing happened. We were under contract. We couldn't go shop the deal. We couldn't talk to anyone about it, and the entire thing was confidential. Yet they missed every single deadline that they had set out to fulfill, when documents were due, when certain points would be negotiated. At this juncture, the business was known as Pocket Outdoor Media. They weren't sure what their long-term branding was. We were getting pretty nervous. We're 30 days into a 90-day close. We've accomplished almost nothing. My understanding is it's going to be a challenging process. I've heard business owners speak to it before. It's a rough period for business, for a founder to sell. Almost nothing happens. We get to the 30-day mark, and two press releases drop within an hour of each other. The first, Pocket Outdoor Media acquires the legacy 50-year-old brand Outside Magazine and elevates the name Outside to be the name of the parent company. So they replace Pocket Outdoor Media, and Outside becomes the name of the core company. So at this juncture, Outside is a 3-year-old startup that owns a 50-year-old magazine, and they own dozens of other brands. The second press release that dropped shortly after was an announcement that Sequoia Capital had invested a 9-figure deal into them as a startup. Sequoia is one of the most reputable venture capital companies in the country, if not the world. We got a call from Robin. Sorry, we were busy. My response. You're forgiven, don't do it again, or maybe do it again, but after all of this is closed. That set new stakes for the game. His comment was, we've got to close fast. Valuations are changing. There's a lot of attention coming in. How quickly can we get you into the umbrella? That embarked on the 60-day window that I mentioned of some tremendous highs and lows. I would say more than anything, it was the most challenging period of the business. I felt like I was living a lie for 60 days. I couldn't tell anyone about what we were going through. The entire thing was a secret to everyone but my business partner and my family. I would say that in hindsight, what I think about, I wasn't prepared for what became the most aggravating game of show me this document. Where is this document? How can you find this document? Every day was a barrage of interruptions, someone needing some piece of information, and how fast can you get it done, and do it without any single person knowing that you're doing it. If it weren't for COVID, I don't know how we would have kept it a secret. And actually, I've never asked our employees. maybe some of them picked up on the fact that something was odd, but the amount of time that's spent on a phone or digging through computers, it's just behavior changes. But so many people were virtual because of COVID that I think we were able to mask what was going on. Also, we were the little guy in a big guy transaction. We were up against a major player, and they knew it, we knew it. We made some reasonable requests. If it didn't impact them, they accommodated. If it impacted them, we lost almost every negotiation. That's hard. It's hard as a business owner to be making what feels like a reasonable request to a company that is so large and only to be turned down for reasons that if you were to switch roles or switch seats, you'd understand. But it's hard when it's what you've built for so long to watch some things get pushed over. When we got to the finish line, a lot of people congratulated us. Amazing, you sold a business. It's every entrepreneur's dream. Some people said, touchdown, well done. What I honestly felt was I got tackled at the 10-yard line and drug into the end zone when the refs weren't looking. They really did a number to us over the course of the process and the unpredictability of it all. I was met with an incredible surprise by the attorneys when we were done. They said, that was the smoothest transaction we've ever done. And I thought to myself, how does anyone survive this? It doesn't make any sense. So without dwelling too much on some of the details, maybe some recommendations to entrepreneurs in the room or anybody who's thinking about starting a business. If I were to do it again, what did I learn? What would I recommend as somebody who is embarking on their first business sale? First and foremost, if you are doing business outside of the state that you operate in, just start paying sales tax everywhere in the country. The rules are coming after you. They're changing fast. Over the course of our 60 days, I counted 50 attorneys, bankers, and accountants roll through our business and try and uncover everything that they could about our business. And they found one issue that they brought to us and said, we're concerned. They said, you didn't pay your sales tax in Colorado. I thought we didn't achieve what's called nexus. Accountants will jump all over this too. In the state of Colorado, it's not a big deal. And they said, well, we're based in Colorado, and the last thing we want to do is piss anyone off here. So can you please back pay your sales tax in the state of Colorado? These rules are changing fast. If you're doing business outside of the state that you operate in, know that if your objective is to sell, it's in your best interest quickly to start figuring out your sales tax in other states and collecting and paying it. Second, keep all of your legal documents organized. It's really easy to get signatures and leave them in DocuSign. We were pretty good at this. I feel like 80 to 90% of our documents have been saved, organized, stored. I think last month somebody dropped the F-bomb in here. I'm going to say it was a bitch to go find the documents that we needed. What a pain. When you have hundreds of documents to try and track down, just store them early on in the right location. Make them easy to find. There's 3 parts to selling a business. Most people don't think about this. When you embark upon selling a business, really focus on finding somebody in your business who's excellent in each of the 3 points. The first is the legal component, the second is the accounting, and the third is the operations. I tried to tackle all 3, and it killed me. It absolutely killed me. Additionally, when you need somebody, or when you find somebody that can tackle each one individually and be the point person, make sure that they're comfortable dipping into the other areas. There's a lot of people that'll step into a transaction and are specialists. We had a number of attorneys or accountants that really focused on specific areas. And interpreting what they said and translating it to other areas of the transaction was a real challenge. So trying to find people that could cross the line and be the translator between the two is valuable. Fourth, luck will find its way in unpredictable ways. For us, luck came in the form of something called 1202, really nuanced section of the tax code that allows for tax-free business acquisitions. It was a miracle that we ever fell into it. The number of boxes you have to check to get into the 1202 world, nobody could ever plan for. In fact, we had an attorney in our transaction say, all the time I get businesses that come to me that are trying to stand up their entity with the focus on how do I create a 1202 transaction when I sell. They said, we've done dozens of these from the start. Not one of them by design has ever landed there. We landed there by luck. The attorney said 2 times in my career have I ever seen a business land in a 1202 transaction. Again, a really nuanced section of the tax code, but it was a big economic input outcome for the transaction and benefit to those involved. And last, at the end of the day, the bankers, the attorneys, the accountants, they all go away. Your relationship with whoever is buying your business is what sticks. And that's what you need to protect throughout the transaction. focus on that. What's to come for us? The transaction has now been closed for 10 months. We're a part of Outside. Where are we going? So first and foremost, we're not physically going anywhere. We are a Bend-based business. In fact, I'm an advocate for Bend being the second headquarters for Outside. Outside's headquarters is in Boulder, Colorado. I believe it's catching on, especially with a good chunk of a building, the most recent Bend Bulletin building, the brick building up off of Mount Washington that we've recently moved into and are building out right now for our business. I think it's going to be a phenomenal location and spot for us to call a second headquarters. In terms of where the business is headed, we are the commerce team. We are building the future of commerce for Outside. The objective of Outside as a whole, though, is to IPO. They're not making that secret at all. They believe that they're building something quite large, something more impactful in the outdoor and recreation, active lifestyle industry than has been seen ever before. And they think that in order to achieve that, going public is a big component of that. Jared and I signed on for several more years through the course of the transaction. Both the excitement of what they're building, the opportunity to see how a business goes public behind the scenes was inspiring to us. Right now, we're in very much an integration phase. Outside, formerly Pocket Outdoor Media, has bought, depending on how you count it, anywhere from 20 to 50 businesses. Some transactions came with multiple businesses. Putting that many businesses into one singular location in a 3-year period creates a lot of friction. How do you integrate them all? Anything from how do you run a purchase order and pay an invoice to what are our terms of service? How do you update all of that? It's incredibly challenging just to figure out how to integrate it all behind the scenes and try and keep that as protected or quiet from the customer as possible. We're very much in that phase right now, but we are about to embark upon what we think will be a significant growth phase for our business. Not just the commerce team, but the Outside as an entire membership brand going forward. Membership will be the key. Right now, there's a $99 annual Outside Plus membership that gets you access, premier benefits to every segment of the wheel that they've built. Content is the biggest chunk, but they've moved into apps. So Gaia GPS and Trail Forks is a component of what they do. Athlete Reg, not necessarily a public-facing brand, but one of the largest event registration companies in the country. Finisher Picks. When you finish an event, the pictures that you get that you can purchase, there's a number of benefits to being a member that you get throughout this spoke and wheel. We're excited. We're also worn out, is the truth of it as entrepreneurs. Having grinded on this wheel for 8 years, it is incredibly fun. It's incredibly challenging. Would I do it again? I think so. I think I need some time off before I do it again. A lot of people say, so is that the end of the book? Where are you? And my answer to that, it's not the end of the book, but it's the end of a season. The first season was CAIRN, and that season is coming to a close. But we are opening up the second season now, and starting a new season is Outside, and what I think one that will be incredibly powerful for this community, and one that's very fitting for Ben to have Outside here. So thank you for hearing the story, and I welcome questions.
So you obviously didn't die. But how did you get through this? How, you're an outdoor person, so was that a significant way of surviving this absolutely grueling experience?
I have yet to hear a founding story that's really, or I should say an acquisition story that's really uplifting. It's usually a challenging period for any business. How did I get through it? I would say a very accommodating family, incredibly supportive wife. Some long nights, knowing that it was in the best interest of the business, the best interest of the employees, that it would be exciting for the community and for Bend. All of that, I would say, motivated us through it, but not necessarily a window that I aspire to do again in the near future.
Yeah, it's amazing you still have hair, Rob. Not gonna
not very much.
Gonna lie. Yeah. And your wife Betsy is a lovely person. I'm sure this has been quite the experience for you both. We first met, I think, in 2017, and at the time you were really excited about the data mining and the potential to move into membership. And I'm just wondering, what's exciting you the most now?
Yeah, I think that that marriage I mentioned earlier around content and commerce, the fact that we have an infinite amount of content And now we have to appropriately figure out how to blend commerce into it. If you were to mine into my head the vision that I would paint for you, that whether or not this is the end direction the outside goes is to be determined, but imagine reading an article that you are completely enthralled in and inspired by. It's somebody that's bikepacking across Iceland. And over the course of that article, as you're reading, there's a snippet about some product that they used. If you want to explore that, you simply hover over that component of the article, and there's something that comes up in the article that gives you more detail on that product. And you can either click through and go very deep on that product, or you can just add it to your cart and transact in that moment and never leave the article. And if you're a member to Outside Plus, you can receive that product in your home without actually paying for it and get a window where you can try it in the comfort of your own home. And only if you don't return it do you actually pay for it. That sort of consumer experience when it comes to commerce married with content is inspiring to me, and I would say what I'm looking forward to the most. There were some big ambitions around our data. I think what we found was that we were early and we never quite nailed the recipe for how to monetize the data. We did some really interesting things with it, but I think it was a little too early for the industry that we're in. So.
Hello? Okay. So interesting. I'm working for a travel health and wellness brand, and we're attempting to do something similar, but on a much smaller scale. And it is very exciting to think about like how specialized you can really get within your industry. It's very cool. Big question: how's your team doing? More specifically, how are the office dogs?
Did mine do? Okay. The team's good. The team has grown a lot. When we transacted, we were 13 employees. I think today we're not quite 30. So we've grown quite a bit over the course of 10 months. And that's going to double again pretty quickly. The office that we're building out here in Bend will house 60 to 80 people at full capacity. But there's also a concept with outside that very few people are tied to a geographic location. In our business, we've got some commerce-specific folks that need to be here in Bend near product. But overall, the company right now is 600 to 700 people across the country and even some internationally. And the thought is allow them to work wherever they're inspired to work, wherever works for their job, but give them locations that are motivated and excited to be. And I think in Bend, we've created an environment, not just at Outside, but our community, where our employees want to come and they want to spend time. And having a location where they can hotel, set up their computer and dock and be inspired by their peers is a real inspiration for the rest of us. So.
Hello? Build a big parking lot so all those vans have somewhere to go.
Right.
They're coming.
It's a lot of vans.
It's a lot of vans. Questions for Rob? Questions for Rob? Yes.
Rob, you mentioned your outside investors. You know, early investors either lose money, break even, or make money. What are your outside investors thinking today?
So what are your outside investors today? Losing, breaking even, or making money? How are they feeling?
The $1,000,000 question. Everyone wants to know the economics of the transaction. I'll give you this. We're a base hit. We were not a Hydro Flask. Nobody hit a grand slam with this one. I would say that there is an opportunity, though, with the IPO that comes. There was an election to pay it forward, if you will, and ride out this wave another couple of years. But to our investors, there's certainly opportunities that they could have done a lot better in. And I'm sure there's some that they could have done much worse in. So, yeah.
Fair. Yes. What challenges did you find in the subscription service? From my MVP question asker. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, subscriptions, not quite a necessity, but incredible value add to any business. If you can find a way to marry subscription, the fact that a customer doesn't have to re-engage to transact with you is a multiplier when it comes to growth, sales of your business. It's just incredible opportunity if you can marry it with your business model. I would say that a challenge in our industry, which we succeeded at relative to our peers, but relative to like a software company was quite challenging, is churn rates. So retention, how often do customers leave and how quickly do you have to replace them? When you compare us to true peers, Birchbox, Loot Crate, the hundreds of the month clubs that you see advertising on your Facebook feed, our churn rate was one of the lowest we ever found. As soon as you compare it to the likes of Dollar Shave Club or essentially a utility subscription, which Amazon has a lot of, I just need paper towels delivered every 3 weeks, and I don't ever want to think about it again. Our churn rate was quite challenging. So really dissecting and mining the difference between involuntary churn and voluntary churn, people that are explicitly choosing to opt out of your subscription versus those that just forget to update their credit card and then never pay attention to the emails and myriad of things that you do to try and recollect their information. That's something that you can spend an entire career in, if you will. So, but at the end of the day, I think that the existence of the subscription for us is what made us so successful. If we were an intentional transaction at every single month, I don't think we would have been nearly as successful as we were.
Some killer gear from CAIRN over the years. Yeah,
Good.
I still have it. It's all good. Unique things, too. Any questions for Rob? Any other questions? Yes. What's that? The name? Oh, yeah, you were going to tell us about the name?
Yeah, a CAIRN is a rock stack. You've all seen it. You pile up a stack of rocks. It's frequently on a trail. If they're built properly, they tell you where to turn around, go right, go left, continue forward. More frequently, they're built as just somebody's having fun. They could be at the top of a mountain. It's sometimes built as you've achieved something, and they can be controversial. A lot of times they're built in environments that people don't want them built. For us, it was an inspiration. It was, you're headed on the right path. Adventure awaits. It was a figure, a visible mark that we felt was really valuable to tie our brand to, but we knew it would come with a challenge in terms of educating consumers on how to say it when you see it, and when you hear it, how to spell it. It's a Scottish word. It comes with a heavy accent. I'm not going to try and impersonate right now. But it is, yeah, that's the origin of the word. It's just most people don't know that a rock stack is called a CAIRN.
Try the accent.
There was a good one right here. I didn't quite see where it was.
Was that you? Are you okay? That was nice. CAIRN.
There, you guys are way better
It's
than
like
me.
it's a little phlegmy.
Yeah.
That's a fun question. Any other questions? Yes.
During the acquisition process, very hard, ups and downs. Did you ever think of backing out?
Did you ever think of backing out during the challenges of the acquisition process?
It was always clear to me that it was the right direction for the business. I would say for that reason, no. But I got very excited at many points about the wave of relief that would come the minute the documents were signed. And I remember walking out of the room. We had announced it to our team about 24 hours before the documents were actually signed. It was very clear that it was happening regardless. And there was actually an all hands with the entire outside staff. I was in a back room signing documents while Robin's announcing it to the entire outside employee base that our business was joining. We were going to become the commerce arm. I remember signing the last document, walking out, and Robin's on the screen. Our entire team's around, and they're hearing the news. The rest of the organization, our local employees, had heard it 24 hours before, and the wave of relief that came with that was tremendous. Felt like we had achieved and finally got to a finish line that was challenging along the way. But no, I wouldn't say we thought about backing out.
Was it one of those moments where you were like, oh my God, I just realized I have to go to the bathroom, I'm starving, I need to call my mom. Everything comes to you at once.
If anything, sleep was at the top of that list. I'm just ready to sleep for a while, yeah.
Wow. Okay, oh.
Much input from your original investors?
Did you have much input from your original investors?
We have incredible investors. There's a few in the room tonight. There's some that aren't here. I am so thankful for the guidance that they gave us over the course of the process. I'll give a shout out to one in particular, Jim Collis. He was one of the main investors in Hydro Flask early on and has been involved in a number of deals around Bend. I would go to battle with that guy. Just an incredible asset. Talk about tough love. I don't think he ever... The nicest thing he ever said to me was, "You're not dumb, and you're not, and you're not dumb, and you're not like unmotivated. You're not lazy. So I'm not mad."
You're not a complete piece of crap.
Yeah,
Good job.
Like, you can't help but love the experience, the seriousness, and what he brings to the table. But we had, I think, 11 investors over the course of the business, and I think we were lucky. I hear a lot of stories of founders that end up marrying, because I do think it's a marriage with an investor, somebody that can end up being quite tough to work with, and I think we won the lottery when it came to that. Yeah.
That's good to hear. Okay, yes.
Yeah, so it's a subscription
This is a great question. So it's a consumer-based model. It's a subscription where like just like consuming all of the things all the time. Is there anything that you're giving back to mitigate that process? Or
Yeah, great question. Almost feels like I planted the question. So this weighed heavily on us for the first couple of years. We're injecting a lot of product out into the industry that consumers aren't necessarily asking for, right? They didn't request the specific products we were sending. They just wanted to be inspired and motivated. It took a couple of years to figure out the right way to do it, but we launched a program called Gear Up, Give Back, 2017 or 2018. It was entirely give back, entirely charitable based. Anyone could participate in it. You didn't have to be a CAIRN customer in any regards, but we had an audience to market it to out of the gates. And the way that it worked was you come to our site, you fill out a short form, you get a print at home shipping label, no expense to you. You fill a box with whatever gear product you have, good condition, bad condition. You slap the label on it, it goes here in town to the Gear Fix, one of the largest gear consignment shops in the country. If it's a soft good, it needs repair, they repair it. So rips, tears, zippers, they fix all of that. All of it would go for sale on their floor with special tags that could be highlighted and stand out as for charity. Every year we chose a beneficiary that would rotate year to year, and all sales that came out of that program, and kudos to the Gear Fix folks, they gave us an incredible economic arrangement on what piece they kept for their component, knowing that it was going to charity. The remainder of it went to our beneficiary annually. We've donated over $100,000 over the course of the last 3 years through that program, recycling gear. Thanks. I think it was our opportunity to try and pay it forward and give back with not just the product that we sent that may not have been a good fit, but whatever it replaced that still had life left in it. What's exciting for me now is what can outside do with that program? You start to see all of these recycling programs. Patagonia Worn Wear has been around the longest, but just about every major outdoor brand is launching their own recycling platform. What's challenging to me about those platforms or programs is they are brand specific. How many people have a closet only with Patagonia in it, no other brand? It doesn't exist. You're not going to go to every single brand and recycle your independent gear with them. And some people will, but the majority won't. That's too challenging. Our program will take any outdoor-related product through a single donation. Now you marry that with Outside's audience and their content, and I think that program has a tremendous opportunity to become a cornerstone of the charity or sustainability work that Outside does. We've got a lot of other things to figure out before that really takes off, but I think that the seed is planted for something big.
Gear Fix is going to need a bigger space.
Yeah, here it comes, Gear Fix. So.
Dude, kudos to Gear Fix. Truly an amazing business.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, you're trying to get a question in.
Curious about the ramp up to the IPO. Are they bringing other capital in? What messaging are they giving to your team on their expectations of quarter after quarter? Is it putting pressure on you? Is there incentive on the team? Like, how is that all feeling?
Curious about the ramp up to the IPO. Are there expectations for the team? Are there outside investors? Yeah, all the things.
Yeah, great question. I'm not privy to everything here, and some of the things I'm privy to aren't necessarily for public consumption, but what I can share that I do think is really appropriate is membership is key. And that goes back to a question we got earlier around subscription. Membership's the recurring element of the model. The question is, how do you create the value proposition for the customer that's overwhelmingly significant, such that they never question it when they see once a year the $99 charge of Outside on the credit card, the same way that they wouldn't question the $99 or $119, whatever it is, for Amazon Prime today. So the focus for us is how do we complement commerce and subscription in such a way that it supports the membership model. Outside of that, behind the scenes, it's really how do you get this all in a state where you can go public with it. When you've got 50 different businesses all with their own books, you can't go public. You've got to figure out how to concentrate and put all of that into a single deck. That'll take a little bit of time to work through. But is there pressure? I think that the pressure for us is it's authentic and it's organic. How do we become an impactful business in our industry and to the consumers that rely on the content, the commerce, the event registration, whatever it is they're looking for? How do we simplify access to the outdoors? How do we make it more inclusive? Those are the elements that I would say we feel the pressure. It's inspiring to be in a business that has such significant financial or like growth objectives, but at the root of it, when you get down to what we're working on every day, it's about spending time outdoors. And that is exciting for us inside of it. We're focused on that more than anything. So
The outdoor industry is incredible.
it's fun.
It really is. It is freaking awesome. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming back to PubTalk, Rob. When are you opening an ice cream shop?
Aaron likes to joke with me about this. I have a personal passion for ice cream, and I think this town's struggling on the ice cream front. I don't know, but I promise I will tell you when I do. So I'm not sure when it's happening.
TBD on the ice cream. Thank you so much, Rob. It's great to see you. I'm glad you didn't die, truly. I'm glad you made it through. You look healthy. Everything is okay. Another round of applause for my friend Rob Little. Oh, Rob. Oh my God. This is our tradition, Rob. We give you a big old, you're actually the first person who this is like size appropriate. The big old PubTalk stein. You can bring it back anytime to a future PubTalk. We will fill it up with whatever you want. That's like a liquid beverage, so not like chili or something. Don't get crazy, Rob. For those of you not quite ready to go home, good news. Silver Moon is hosting its weekly Thursday night trivia outside. Thank you again to Steve and the entire team here at Silver Moon Brewing for hosting PubTalk tonight, and of course to Chicken Strut for feeding us, one of 4 on-site food trucks here at the office lot. How do we like the 2-room setup? Did that work for y'all? A little more elbow room? Well, we'll be here next month. If you're not taking some wild spring break trip, I guess that is. News and Brews is also brewing in Redmond this spring, so listen up for that date to be announced. Muse Conference is next weekend, worldmuse.org. Check it out. I would love to see you all there. It's wonderful to be together. Let's be together a little more. Good night. Stay warm. Be well. Be kind. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Shannon Kelly. I will see you next month. Oh, wait, I got one more thing. Altitude super beverage. I want to say one thing. Rob, I need you to make sure you grab a couple of cans of Altitude to recover from the experience you just had. I'll feel much better if we can make that happen. Grab your cans of Altitude. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Shake it up. Drink it cold or warm. Thank you. Shelf stable, no less. Thank you, thank you. See you soon.